Hello everyone, I Dr. Tripti Lamba today discuss about web technology tools. Now first of all, what do you mean by web technology? Now, web technology, it refers by which computers communicate with each other using markup languages and any other multimedia packages. It involves HTML, CSS, DHTML, script, etc. Now, there are different type of web technology tools available. Few of them are listed here. They are HTML, that is Hypertext Markup Language, DHTML, that is Dynamic Hypertext Markup Language. Then we have CSS, Cascading Style Sheet. Then we have a script and then a framework. Now let's discuss about HTML. As I said, HTML, the full form is Hypertext Markup Language. It is a kind of a language, markup language, which is used to describe web pages. Whenever we need to create any web page or a website, we need the use of HTML, right? It has various tags. So it is a process of adding extra information to the text or a line of text. So I said about this is your markup language. It means it has a set of markup tags. So in HTML, whenever we are creating any web pages, we have many kind of tags, right? Which we say as a markup tags. Now let's talk about what are the different HTML elements. Now when we talk about an element, means it is a basic building block of your HTML document, how we will going to create a web page. There has to be some structure, right, to create a particular web page. So it consists of, right, when we talk about HTML document, it consists of HTML elements and the content placed within these elements. So whenever we are writing a code, we have a start tag and an end tag. So if some of the text is inside a particular angular bracket, then we say as a tag. I repeat again. So whenever I'm saying a tag in the HTML, it is delimited by angular bracket, right? Less than and a greater than. This is your starting tag. And when I have to end it, you have an angular bracket slash closing sign, fine. So this is how we declare any tag. Now, tags determine or instruct the browser to how to display or render the text or a graph that it contains. Every tag is the string of character with optional attributes. Now I will talk about what do you mean by attribute, right? I have a particular tag. For example, in this screen, there is a one word written as HTML. Now I'm saying when HTML is a tag, it means it should have an angle brackets less than and a greater than sign. So I have one text written where I am writing this particular less than and a greater than sign. It means this is your opening tag. That is your starting tag. So you need to close this particular tag by a slash. Now, I talk about another tag which is given in this screen, that is B. So B stands for bold. Right. So we have similar other tags, U, I, IMG, A. So you have different kind of tags. One tag name is font to change the font style. Now in this, I can change the font style. I can change the font color. These are known as attributes, right? So that was talking about the optional attributes. So suppose someone says, I want to change the font type and I want to change the size and a color. For that, I need to specify some attributes associated with the font tag. So that means an attribute. Attribute tells you the different features. Like font is a tag, it has many features. I can change the color, I can change the type. I can change the size. So this is how we write any tag. Now, so as I said, we can have a starting tag, we can have an ending tag. That kind of tag is known as container tag, which has a starting and ending tag. Few of the tags are there which do not have a closing. Only one tag is there. Now, this is a structure of an HTML document. This is how we create any structure, right? So this shows your HTML. It means now this is the structure, I say a body of the HTML document. So as I explained, this is your opening tag. Few of the tags we need to close it, which I set as a container tag. Few of the tags are that which are not supposed to be closed. They are known as empty tag. So whenever I will discuss about HTML in detail, there we can discuss about this. So it just a structure has been explained out here where it's talking about HTML. So it is the opening tag. I have closed it. Now I have another tag which is says as head. This is your opening tag. Head also need to be closed. So slash head has been written. Then I have a title, right? So title has an opening and a closing. So this all the tag that is talking about HTML, head, title, body, it specifies a meaning. So there are numbers of tags are available in the HTML tag that you have to study, right? If you want to create any web page or a website, title gives you the title of your web page. So any content, all the information, whatever the body you want in your web pages, all the information that need to be stored in the body tag. So it is your content of the page. So I start with HTML, head, title, then you open a body tag. So whatever you want, that all we will going to write in the body tag, and then at the last we're going to close it. And at the end, I will be closing within slash HTML. So this is a simple way by which we can create a web page. So if I'm creating a web page, I need to save this particular file using .html. You create in any editor, whatever editor you are comfortable with, and then you need to save it as .html, file name .html. This is how we write a code. Now let's talk about the second web technology tool that we discussed, that is your DHTML. So the full form, the name specified as Dynamic Hypertext Markup Language. Although DHTML consists of the word language, but it is not the language. So it is a term used to make your web pages dynamic and interactive. All right, one more thing is there. Whenever we are creating HTML, we are able to create only static page. What do you mean by static? It means I can only view the information. I cannot interact. Fine. Suppose say you want to create any form, examination form, inquiry form, admission form that you want to create. For that you need to have HTML. You should know HTML, the tags that you should aware of, how to create a form. If I want to create a table, I want to create a hyperlinks. Whenever you browse any website, you know, a hand kind of things appear. What is that? That is your hyperlink or a hypertext. When I click on that particular link or a text, some other documents gets open. For all these purposes, you should be aware of HTML. You should know HTML. But with the help of an HTML, you will able to create only static page. No interaction will be there. So if I want my page to be dynamic, to interactive, I have sent some data, right? There is a, suppose some pop-up window appears. I want to have some query. I want to inquire anything. I entered in the database in the field. I submitted. I should receive some pop-up, right? For that purpose, your HTML is not sufficient. So we have a DHTML. So DHTML, you can say it consists of 4 independent components. They are HTML, CSS, script, and DOM. We'll study about this. HTML I have covered. Now, it's saying with the help of the DHTML, it is used to describe a set of animated web documents, right? Web documents, and that will be going to build with the help of HTML, style sheet, and script. Now, what all we can do with the DHTML, let's talk about. So it consists of the three main parts. If I want to do some positioning of any text, of any image, suppose in my web page, I have some images there. I want to change the layout. I want to change the positioning. So with the help of an DHTML, you will be able to do it. So I can do some modification in the style also. It has a numerous functionalities are available in the DHTML through which you can change the style. Event handling is a very important concept, right? It relies on the browser for the display and manipulation of the web pages. So what do you mean by event handler or event model, right? As I said, I created a one, suppose say form, right? You want to inquire about anything, or you have some login page. Now, in the login page, I entered the username and password. The moment I click to the submit button, it checks whether it is authentic person or not. If it is, it will going to redirect to the next page. So that what means on the mouse click, an event has been fired. So this all possible with the help of the DHTML, whereas HTML was not able to provide it. I hope now this is clear. So with the HTML, you created a form, a login form. It comprises of username, password. The username is visible. You want password not to be visible. Asterisk should come. So this all facility will be given by your HTML. You have a tags where you can create the name, the password. You have a submit and a reset button. But depending on the events, some things should appear. That event should fire. So for that purpose, I need the HTML. So event model consists of a number of events with event associated to some other user action. For example, when user press mouse button, a click event, just now I said, an event is occurred or a rest. So for every event, there is an event handler consisting of a code which execute when the event occur or a raise, right? On key press, on some button. Right? So these are some of the event handlers on mouse up, mouse down. So all this event you were able to create with the help of an DHTML. Now let's talk about DHTML object model. Now what do you mean by this? Now DHTML object model is simply a framework containing objects displayed by your browser. You can have a form, you can have images, table. In DHTML model, every HTML element such as form, image, they are treated as an object. You created, suppose say any form, you created any image, that all will be treated as an object. Now, what is the use of that? Now, you want to retrieve any form, you want to retrieve any table or an image. Suppose say it is more than one form available in your website. So how will you able to extract it? How will you able to retrieve it? So you will able to retrieve it with the object, right? So each object attribute can retrieve. So how do you differentiate? You have a name and ID attributes are there. So I repeat again, suppose say in my website, I have 5 different forms. How do I know which particular form that I'm talking about? So you can differentiate by using an object. And how do we do that? With the help of a name and ID. This has to be a unique. So you will going to write, for example, you are creating an examination form. So you are writing form and then I have written a name equal to suppose exam. Right? One is you have created a form inquiry, you have written form name equal to inquiry. Right? I know which form I have to retrieve because the two form has a 2 different unique name. One is exam and other is inquiry. So this is how you can retrieve or you can do any processing operation with that particular form. Now, this is also a very interesting feature that DHTML has. These are filter and transitions. Now, what do you mean by this? Now, filter and transition don't add content to web page. Rather, they present existing content. I have a one content with me, right? You want to filter some data from that, right? You are want to filter any data. Suppose you have some block of codes, a block of text, you want to have only few of them. So your DHTML is allowing you, it's giving you that facility of filter. You want to keep some effect that is known as transition, right? I want my some object or image to fade in. I want that particular image in a black and white in an X-ray form. So that all is possible with the help of the transition. So I hope it understood. You are getting it. So filter and transition, you are not adding any content. Rather, we are existing content in an attractive manner to get the user attention. So both are currently supported only in IE4 and later version, and it is a Microsoft technology. Filters are used to apply visual effects to the HTML elements. Now we have transitions. As all aware about the PowerPoint, the way you create a PowerPoint slide, there you have a transitions, you can create different effects. So similar kind of effect if you want to have in your web pages, so that has been given by your DHTML. So that is what your transition. Now, let's talk about now the other web technology tool, that is your cascading style sheet. Now, CSS, it was introduced by 1996 by W3C, Worldwide Consortium. Now, cascading means it has a ripple effect of a style from parent tag to a child tag. Style sheet is a collection of a style rule. Now, this is very important. It is used to specify styles. It could be any style. You want to change the font color, size, width, or any layout that you want to change. You want to make it border, right? You have to change the border. You want to make it float, or any other attribute that you want to have. So with the help of an CSS, you are able to do it. That is known as cascading style sheet. So in a HTML page, suppose say I want to change some format. So you can create that particular format once. I want to change the color, I want to change the size, I want to change the positioning, maybe some layout. Suppose say 4 operations that you want to perform. So what I do is I create a style of it. So in whichever paragraph, whichever line, right, whichever web page require the particular changes, particular format, it will just going to call that particular, and that particular effect, the formatting will be done. So that is what the benefit of CSS is. Now, you can specify the background color. Just now I said, right? So you can specify the background color. So similar kind of option is available in the HTML also. We can change the background color with the help of body tag, right? But it will be changed only once. So what is the benefit of the cascading style sheet or CSS is you can call it many times. Right, suppose say I want changes in a 5 paragraph, I can call it. There is a way of creating a style, right? And you can just call it. Suppose say I'm a web developer, I have created 2 or 3 websites. Websites I have created, right? In that particular different website, I created one CSS. I can call that particular CSS, that particular style in my 3 different websites. As we used to call a function in other language. So in the similar way, your CSS provide with that. So it specify a common style for one tag or a set of tag, right? Suppose say you want to create a one style for heading 2, H2. I want to create a one style for P, paragraph. Right. So for whatever the tag that is there available in the HTML, we can create a style of that. In fact, we can specify the distance between the elements also. You can specify how much distance between the topmost point of a page and the first element that appears. So the layout, the paragraph part, right, the justification, all those is possible with the help of the CSS. It specifies multiple style for various web pages. Just now discussed, I have a 3 website. I need not do it again and again, right? The redundancy reduces, my efforts reduces. Create a one style whenever required, just call it. Now let's talk about what are the benefits of the CSS. Need to type less code, pages are shorter and neater. Otherwise, for example, in a one web page, you created all the tags, all this style, it will become very lengthy also, right? So it gives you more clarity if we create a CSS, because the neatness will be there. Now, the pages also gets downloaded faster. The look of the site is kept consistent throughout all the pages that work off the same style sheet. For example, I will explain this line with example. Suppose I have a logo, my company logo. Suppose that that company logo is been used 5 times in my web pages, right? Suppose say I change my company logo after some year. Now, if that particular logo is been created, right? It is there in that different web pages, in a 5 pages, I need to change it in each and every page. Fine. So suppose say I created a logo once. Whatever changes that I have to do it, I need to do it once. I'm just calling that particular logo in that particular 5 web pages. So what happened? My data, my logo become consistent. Otherwise, it may be possible I may forget to change the color in one of my web page. So it improve your, so my data become your consistent. So updating design and general site maintenance are made much easier, and error caused by editing multiple HTML pages occur far less often. Just now I justify with this example of the company's logo. Now let's talk about script. Script is also a very important web technology tool, because only HTML is not sufficient if you're creating a website. As I said, HTML is used to create only static web pages or a website. It's just for the information. If I want to do some operation, I need to have some script. I need to have some control. Right, in the script, I have a control structure, I have a control statements, I have a if conditions I have a loop. So all this has been provided by the script. So your website is incomplete without a script, because HTML do not provide any control. So script provide the mechanism to interpret user action and produce client-side changes to a page. For example, I want to view my result. I need to enter the roll number, right? Suppose say I'm in a university, I'm a first year student, I have entered my roll number, my all marks should appear. Now how it will be done? With the help of an HTML, I will be able to create a form, a roll number that I need to enter. Now when I click on to the roll number, when I press a button or a mouse click, right, some operation need to be done. What is the operation? In that particular database, it will first of all going to check whether that particular roll number exists or not. If that particular roll number exists, then what will happen? It will going to fetch the records. It will fetch my marks. Everything need to be displayed. Right? This is possible only with the help of a script language, because I have a one database. It will going to view in that particular folder, in that particular file, all the records of the student, and then depending upon my roll number, it will going to check the condition. If the condition becomes that true, it will going to fetch whatever the marks that I'm having, I'm scoring it. So for that purpose, you need to have a script. So it uses different events corresponding to a user action. Just now I said, on click, on submit button, I should fetch my marks, I should get the marks. Suppose say the roll number I entered wrong. It should pop up with a message, wrong roll number, enter, try again, or whatever information that you want to give. So there are different type of script available. There are JavaScript, VB, Perl, PHP, etc. So in detail in my next following video, I will going to explain more about script. Now let's talk about DOM. DOM stands for Document Object Model. It is an API, application program interface, that will allow script to dynamically access and update the content, structure, and style of the document. It represents a HTML document in a tree form, and every node of a tree represents as an HTML tag. Now let's talk about the last web technology tool, that is a framework, which is very important. Now, web framework designed to support the development of web application, including your web services, you have a web resources and web APIs. So it saves an important time and effort for building an app. That's why now more of the students, the developer, they are using a framework for in their websites. They're generally used for the development of the dynamic website, but they are also applicable to the static website. Now let's talk about few of the examples of your web application framework. They are Ruby on Rails. This is extremely productive web application framework. Then we have Django. This is used to build quality web applications. Developers feel that it is fast, secure, scalable, and versatile. It uses Python. Then we have another Angular, right? We say generally as Angular JS. This also been used by developer quite often. So this is a framework by which Google helps us in building powerful web application and uses a JavaScript. Then you have ASP.NET. It is developed by Microsoft. It helps to build robust web application for PC and mobile devices. It is highly performance and lightweight. It uses C#. Then you will have a Meteor. It is used to build a real-time mobile and web applications. Then you have a Laravel. It uses PHP. It values elegance, simplicity, and reliability. Then you have Express. It provides robust set of features for web and mobile applications. Then we have Spring. It helps to create simple, portable, fast, flexible. It is based on JVM. Now then we have a Play. We have a modern web application framework. It is written in Java and Scala. It is a high velocity web framework. Then we can have Portal Igniter. So it is used to build dynamic website. So it uses JavaScript. So that's all. Thank you so much.